Hey, welcome to the Screen Time Continuum. It's a wonderful Sunday, and I don't care how many times I hear that intro. I'm usually out here vibing out as we intro. Can't help it. So I was a little delayed on that. Hey, what's going on, guys? But welcome to the Screen Time Continuum. It is a wonderful Sunday. My name is Keelan, and I am here with the fellas. Nick, what's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Hey man, I'm doing okay. Happy Sunday. How you doing?
I'm actually doing really well, and yes, it is definitely a
Good.
happy Sunday. Yeah, yes, indeed. Mike, how you feeling over there?
Man, feeling good, feeling good.
Hey, feeling good, feeling great, feeling great, feeling good. How
Awesome.
are you? Man, I think this is
Sounds
gonna
sounds
be.
kind of echoey over there.
Oh yeah, he's in the
Yeah,
chamber.
Yeah.
Locked away in the chamber. But
yeah.
yeah,
Dropping the
so
kids off at school.
hey,
No,
there you go.
man.
Terrible things to know about. Terrible things to talk about. If you have friends like Mike, go ahead and drop a like in the comment, share, subscribe, tell your friends about it. We are here to give you a review of the 2023 film. As far as we're concerned, it's a 2023 film. It might have been written in 2012, who knows? But it is, as of today, a 2023 film that you can currently view on Netflix. It currently, or excuse me, previously, recently, I mean, shoot, you can honestly say currently because it's almost as if it came out today. This movie just hit Netflix, I believe, on Thursday. Am I correct?
November 10th.
November 10th.
Yes.
Oh, so that's
So
Friday.
Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this movie
Two
just
days ago.
hit Netflix 2 days ago. So if you have not seen this, if you want to see this, if you are not someone who can hear the type of spoilers that this channel would lend, go ahead, put us on pause, hit the like, hit the shares, tell everybody else that might want to know anything about a review, put it in your watch laters, go and watch the movie, come back and see what we have to say after that. However, if you can stomach all of the information about this movie being dispelled on this show and still go watch the movie and enjoy it, by all means, your spoiler warning is ending in five, four, three, two.
Done.
I know those were 5 seconds, but yeah, it
It
is
was
what it
all a
is.
dream.
So yeah, we're here, as I just said, to give you guys a thorough review, or at least a review in general. I'm not sure what you consider thorough, but a review of the movie entitled The Killer. The
What do
Killer.
you consider thorough, Keelan?
See, for me, I consider what we do thorough.
Fair enough. Good
Yeah,
answer.
but for other people, I couldn't say. Somebody might want us to give some details about the lighting guy or something like that. We don't have that. We
That
don't
might be
give
too
that kind of
thorough.
information.
Yeah.
That might be too thorough, but someone might
Mm.
be looking for that. Um, but yeah, so we're here to give you guys a little something about this movie. This movie came out in 2023. Again, just now on Friday, so 2 days ago, November 10th, this movie came out. And let's see, off the top of my head, I know that Michael Fassbender and Tilda Swinton are
Hmm.
the leading names in this movie. Don't comment on that part in a minute. But hey Nick, can you give us some specifics that I can't think of off the top of my head?
Certainly can. Yeah. As we said, it came out 2 days ago on Friday, November 10th, 2023. It is directed by David Fincher, who also did Seven and Fight Club and Gone Girl and lots of other stuff. It's written by Andrew Kevin Walker, Alexis Nolent, and Luke Giacomone. And it stars Michael Fassbender, Tilda Swinton, and Charles Parnell. And the synopsis for this film is: after a fateful near miss, an assassin battles his employers and himself on an international manhunt he insists isn't personal. There you go.
Yeah, that's about
Huh.
it. I never read that, and that last part of that just made me.
Our lie detector reports
Deter-
that was a lie.
determines that was a lie.
That was
Yes.
a lie, right?
The
Um,
whole thing is personal.
the
Yes.
whole thing is personal. Well, with that, we clearly all have a passionate response to just that alone. So, let's get into some first thoughts about the killer. The killer.
The
Shoot,
killer.
I could even jump in there first. Um, yeah, this movie was interesting. It almost was laid out exactly how you would want a movie about a meticulous killer to be laid out. but at the same time, I think it wanted to be shoot 'em up, but with more class. I think it wanted to be dang, I cannot remember that movie,
It's
but
not Smoking Aces.
it's definitely not Smoking Aces. It's so crazy because that's the name that was popping up, but that's not what I was thinking of. I'm thinking of what's the one with the French killer and he ends up
Leon the
taking
Professional.
Leon the
Yeah.
Professional. It wants to meld excuse me, that other one I said and Leon the Professional into the same movie.
Except, well, never mind.
Except nothing can do Leon the Professional the way that the original did. Mostly because somehow that not somehow, but that movie was able to make a very uncomfortable situation not as uncomfortable as it could have been. Versus, yeah, not gonna talk about that. So this movie right here, though,
Hollywood.
I don't hate it. Let me say that I don't hate it, but it reminded me a lot of other movies, and I feel like once again, as we watch some movies, we watch them, and it comes to that moment in movies where you're like, "Oh, I know what movie inspired you to make this," and that happened probably twice for me in this. Other than that, dark fight scenes. They wasted their money by using Michael Fassbender because they never asked him to actually show his talent. Um, Tilda Swinton also was a wasted name to put in this. Like, you got us here with names that you didn't really utilize in any way. And Michael Fassbender was in most of this movie, or excuse
You
me,
know
all of
what?
this movie, and you still didn't use him. Yeah,
I actually agree with that because I thought Tilda Swinton's her whole scene, I thought that was
wasted.
just an excuse to have her there.
Absolute waste.
Yeah.
Unless she did this as a buddy flick. If she did this as a buddy flick, I get it. Then I understand using her, but then I still have to question Michael Fassbender. Maybe you could just afford him, and it is what it is. And I'm not saying that they didn't do a good job. I'm saying I don't think they were given anything to work with.
Right.
But aside from the dark fighting scenes, aside from some nonsensical story plot, this was still somewhat enjoyable, honestly. So yeah. I mean, maybe everything you guys say might bring my score down, but it's not gonna get a terrible rating as of now. Let's see what happens in about 45 minutes. But yeah, Mike, Nick, what do you
All right.
guys think?
I'll go. I enjoyed it. I thought it was not terrible. It wasn't bad. I don't think it was necessarily good. And when you exactly what you said though, I felt like Michael Fassbender was kind of a waste for this because it didn't really what's the word I'm looking for? Showcase his talents.
Right. Yeah.
It kind of does, but not really.
it if Michael Fassbender was say a third, fourth year actor, this would have been a beautiful movie for him. At this stage in his career, give me the Michael Fassbender that's going to get some emotion out of me as the viewer, because that's what he's capable of at this point in his career. But I'm sorry, I'm jumping in on your first impression.
No, I understand. I did the same thing because I felt the same way you felt. Like the Tilda Swinton scenes, I was like, they just needed to have her have a conversation because it was it was just basically her monologuing, and it was kind of like they had to give her something to do because it didn't really showcase anything with her except she know how to slip and fall and drink whiskey. That was it. That's all I got from it.
Yeah,
But
I get you.
yeah, and the whole movie is personal. I mean, he's doing it because they came after him after what happened. But we'll get into all that. I mean, but again, I didn't dislike it. I enjoyed it still.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I could even say when I started this, what changed. So yeah, that's why. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll get into all that.
Mm-hmm.
Nick,
how'd you feel?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I liked it a little bit more than you guys. I can answer your question about Tilda Swinton and Michael Fassbender. This is a David Finch movie. They wanted to work for him.
Got it.
He's such a big director that an actor would gladly take a 2-bit role just to be a part of one scene.
Fair point.
Yeah, so I think that that's probably why Tilda Swinton is in this. I agree with you guys. It could have been anybody. It really could have been, as far as the story is concerned. This isn't a terrible movie in any stretch. I think that it's well executed. There's a lot of tension. There's paranoia, which is interesting. I will say that right off the bat, I think that the trail or the thumbnail that I put up is probably going to get us banned on YouTube, because I realize that that's just pointing a gun directly at the audience, which I wonder if they did on purpose so that people don't review the movie or don't put it on YouTube, because like
Don't
that's
use that as the thumbnail.
that's the promotional image. But yeah, I enjoyed this. This, to me, this felt a little bit more like the anti-John Wick type of movie, where it's like everybody, like, John Wick has gotten to this point where it's so bombastic and over the top that it's unbelievable. And I think that this movie wanted to take the sort of assassin motif and make it more mundane, which I think it does well enough. I think that it's very mundane. It's very grounded. There's nothing fantastical about any of this. It kind of reminded me a mixture of Dexter and what was the one that you said, Keelan? Oh, Leon the Professional. Yeah. So it's somewhere in between there, with the heavy narration of like a Dexter episode, plus the very mundane sort of meticulous life of an assassin that Leon the Professional had. So I think it was good. Direction was decent. It's cinematography was interesting, very darkly lit. A lot of scenes happen at night, and that's a problem. You gotta light that better. That's for sure. But yeah, I didn't hate it, but I didn't, is this movie memorable to me? I don't know if I remember this any more than I remember Nobody, which is that movie that we reviewed with Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah. I like that movie.
I did too, but I can't tell you anything that happened in that movie. So
there's only one memorable scene.
I know that he goes on a bus at one point.
Well, it's not even the bus scene. It's the scene with the old guy who recognizes his tattoo. That was the most memorable scene.
Fair enough.
Because it's like, oh. But oh man, I had something I want. Oh, so I just based off of what you were saying, as far as like the John Wick movies, do you think they're going to go into space next?
I mean, they might as well just team up with the Fast and the Furious movies at this point.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, so they're gonna go into space next.
Is it Fast and Furious going into space next?
They already did it.
Yeah,
like 3 movies ago.
I know, that was like, that's old news.
Right. They done did space. They done did underwater Arctic.
Fast and the Furious is at Jason Voorhees level now. Like, seriously.
Right.
There we go. I glitched it. I don't know if y'all heard me, but I was saying I'm not gonna tell y'all the last Fast whatever movie I watched, but it was more than 3. It just wasn't. Yeah.
I couldn't tell you.
Or 9.
I think the first one.
The last time I watched one was when I had DirecTV.
Oh, so like last year.
You funny.
No, you mean like
early
when you buy it, when you when you purchase a whole bunch of streaming services that cost as much as cable.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
That's where we're at now.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know what the was.
We lost him.
Oh. No, it's my headsets. Yeah, my headset's dying.
That is an
That is an I'm sorry. That it just made me think of a bunch of jokes. I was just watching I'm gonna say this and we'll get into this movie. I was just watching an interview of a sports athlete who saw a reporter fall and then he imitated the reporter falling out of the chair, and I've had that in my head all day because it's hilarious. Anyway, so the movie The Killer. So yeah, basically this movie comes in 6 beats, so it's gonna kind of be easy to kind of go through and go over really quick. But this movie is about a killer who basically is supposed to be the best. He's 100% shooter. You line him up for the job, he gonna make sure the job get done clean, in and out. However, We ain't got no proof of that.
not
That's just what
one.
he tells us.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been nice to see at
It
least a
would've been.
montage of, but we didn't. What we saw was him shoot the entertainment because for whatever reason he tried to shoot between her arm and her hip.
I mean, like he had so many opportunities to make a clean shot, and he totally didn't take any of them. I wonder if there is like a like this is supposed to be purposely like the guy is
Self-sabotage.
not even self-sabotage, but like he's not as good as he thinks he is. You know,
Ooh.
like maybe that's part of his character is that he's actually not as good as but he
Nah.
also succeeds at everything, so I can't say
Right.
that, you know.
That's exactly. I would have went with that if this movie didn't go the way it went. I
Yeah.
think, as something is discussed a little later in the movie, I think what really happens is he just wanted shit to go wrong. Like he wanted to set himself up for whatever reason. He had ill intentions towards his own future.
Interesting
It doesn't
point.
really make sense, but
Yeah.
it's-
Interesting.
I was
Sorry.
thinking
It makes, this
retirement.
movie, it makes this movie make more sense.
Yeah. Interesting point. He does talk. I think that the first act is my favorite act when he's doing the job.
Yeah.
It's very heavy on narration, which is fine enough for a movie like this. But he does say something interestingly. Like he says something like, I hate these Annie Oakley jobs because they're so
Mundane.
boring. They're mundane. And so he does say that he misses getting into the more personal and up close jobs. So maybe this was some sort of subconscious self-sabotage in order to get back on the ground.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like he didn't really want to be the sniper.
Because it seemed like he didn't.
Oh no.
Right.
Well, kind of like Leon talked about, and I think it was kind of like his retirement.
Right.
Right.
That's a fair point.
But I think
yeah,
because
I
Leon the
think that's what
Professional
he-
talks
yeah, I
about
think
how
that's
professional assassins don't like to do the sniper rifle thing. They actually like to be up close and personal in whatever way they're going to do the job.
Yeah. Timeout though. I think your echo is back, Mike. Just so you know, I know you can't hear it, but we can. So just be careful. I think
Like, I don't hear it now, so maybe not.
he's on mute now. So
Smart man.
Smart.
Yeah,
Um,
speaking then mute.
Hey, you know what? That new rule. No. Yeah. No. As far as the first, so I'll be very clear. The first 2, maybe 3 acts are my favorite of this movie, which is why I have a line drawn. The first act is like a great setup. The first act made me really think like, oh shoot, we about to get like a day in the life of a killer, of an assassin, or a day in a month, or however long, we're gonna get through this and then something's gonna go wrong as it always does, blah blah blah. And at first we're getting things out of this dude that are exquisite from the mind of a killer. He seems so skilled, right? He has these meticulous, exactly. There are these discussions that he has in his head, of course, but he's talking about how he doesn't believe he's exceptional. And through this entire movie, it's like his whole point is he's not special, he's not exceptional, he's just normal like everybody else. Which kind of is contrary to everything that happens in this movie, but I kind of understand at the same time. He falls asleep, he wakes up a couple times. He believes that you live and you die and you can do what thou wilt, but he also forgets the person who made that statement, which is kind of, in my opinion, all of those kind of things are odes to his humanity. But then he turns around and he starts to quote numbers like 140 million people are born a day. How many people are on this planet is around 7.8 billion. 1.8 people dying a day, but 4.2, a second, excuse me, but 4.2 people dying per second.
Oh, you okay
1.8
there?
people dying per second and 4.2 people being born per second. Sorry, I had to actually read it. I was trying to remember it.
Well, I can give you the exact the originator of the quote. For some reason, the
Aleister
movie,
Crowley, right?
yeah, it's Aleister
Yeah.
Crowley. Yeah,
I think they just didn't want to say it.
You're right, exactly. I think they might have been like, "Oh, we can't give away too much of what
Much
we
of what
believe
we
in."
believe in.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
Mike, you can't. Yeah, you got to wait for us to be done. Sorry, man.
He's like seconds. Hold on, wait. So let's give him 2 seconds.
Yes, go ahead. Oh, now it's dead air.
Oh, maybe he wasn't trying to speak. So he says that for this job to be done, you must be able to endure boredom. You must love preparation essentially, have attention to the details and the redundancies. Now, again, this is what makes me think we're really just going to get a tutorial and a walkthrough of how to become an assassin until things go haywire and wrong. But we don't exactly get that. This is really where that ends. And immediately we see him step outside of the redundancies. And that's very evident because, like you said, he had plenty of open shots, plenty of clean shots. And like I said, he decided to shoot between her arm and the hip. It was a terrible shot.
Yes.
Hands down a terrible
Yeah.
shot. If I'm playing video games and I'm playing I don't know what's the game with sniper, some game with a sniper, GTA, right? I'm not waiting until I gotta shoot between somebody's arm and their hip unless that's like extra points or something. Like what is this?
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering it might be a character choice that he's just not as good as he says he is, and he's sort of like big upping himself because he
Mhm.
says he repeats a lot of the same lines in this movie, like stick to the plan, don't deviate, don't have empathy. But he shows all of that stuff, and he doesn't really have a plan. At least we don't know that he has a plan. We just kind of follow what he
Right.
does.
Right.
So,
Yeah, we never see or hear of any plan. He really is going on the fly, but you're right, he keeps repeating all those things. But even there were some things I didn't like. Well, some things that were interesting choices. Like every time he went somewhere, he would see like a secret door or something like that, a different way to get a job done. But for instance, the first job, he never uses any of that. But on all of the other jobs, he uses all of these sneaky methods, some of which aren't even necessary. Um, and I think that might lend to your point, where it's like he thinks this is how the job is done, and maybe he's getting things done, but it's not. Maybe this movie is killer for idiots.
yeah,
Or for
I just don't know.
dummies.
I just don't know if it does a very good job about showing how good this guy is. I think it does along the way, but it's not really established that this guy is any better than any other person. And a lot of what he does doesn't go the way he wants it to. And he sort of has to improvise a little bit in some instances. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if it was a deliberate choice or not to make him sort of contradictory. Because he does have that whole monologue in the first act where he talks about, the crux of it being do what thou wilt, thou shalt be the letter of the law, which is moral ambiguity and sort of like a lack of personal ethic and code, even though he's very fastidious to a code. So he's like, the character is a contradiction in itself in a lot of ways. I don't know.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I get it. It's like it's up and he's really hot and cold. So anyway, Act One's
Let's ask
really
Mike
quick.
what he thinks.
Mike, what do you
mute
think?
himself?
I think that I got a lot of echo, and I think I'm gonna be listening more than talking.
No, I think you're good. We'll just pause for you to say something, and then we'll shut our mouths so that our voices don't echo.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense, though. I mean, there was a lot of repetition throughout the whole movie. He kept saying, "Don't improvise," and then he was saying, "Don't have empathy." He kept saying that same stuff over and over, but he was kind of doing that, except for Tilda. He got her. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think the Tilda situation. Whoa. There's what six acts I think in this movie. We're only at 2. Here I am. So we get to Act 2. Something I noticed is he uses different names. And at first I thought he was using names of killers, right? But no, he's just using like TV names like Archibald Bunker.
Really
Howard
obvious,
Cunningham.
really obvious fake names.
Obvious fake names. Super obvious fake names. Lou Grant, Sam Malone, George Jefferson, Robert Hartley, Reuben Kincaid. Like All of these are names that literally either made the news or were from big enough TV shows or something like that. It was
while dressing in a manner that is so supposedly incognito that it's literally the meme of the incognito for when you put your browser on incognito mode. And it's like, you know, the glasses and the hat
And
and the bucket hat. Yeah. He's like
funny.
so conspicuous.
Hey,
Yeah.
hiding in
I'm
plain
not
sight.
I'm not up to nothing.
It's not me. You don't know me.
It's like when the Avengers wear baseball caps and sunglasses to go incognito.
Yeah, no, you're not a 7-foot Martian.
Hmm.
But you said the Avengers, but Justice League, same thing.
Same.
So let's see. He goes back to the Dominican Republic, which apparently is home, and at his hideout, he sees cigarettes and feet standing around, which is a bad sign because that means somebody was outside waiting. And he jumps the gate with his hand pistol and charges in to find out that there's blood everywhere, there's broken glass, and there's nobody there. Finds out later that his lady is hospitalized. We don't see really much of her or learn much of her until she wakes up, and basically he tells her to go rest and I'll never let this happen again. Tells her brother the same thing, nothing like this will ever be allowed to happen again. And he tells him the information and he gets on his way to finding out who broke into his house and beat up his lady. And he's told by the cab dude, which I thought was that was pretty cool too. Told by the cab dude that it's a Q-tip looking lady and a freak. The Q-tip looking part of the lady I get. I'm not sure what made him a freak. Or is it just like he was just monstrous because he was monstrous?
Probably that. Yeah. Gigantic and roided out. Yeah.
Yeah, that was for damn sure. So we get to Act 3 already. Oh, sorry, Mike.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I think the reason he called him a freak was probably because he was a giant roid rage, and that kind of comes through in the way he looks and kind of the way he acts. And he said he looked terrible and menacing, so that's probably why he said that.
Right. Yeah. He definitely looked like a lurch type. So we get on to Act 3, and in Act 3 we are off to Narland. So we had already been to Paris. We've already been to the Dominican Republic. And now we're off to Narland. Yeah, I mean, we world travelers on this side. You know, catch up, get your passport game up.
Yeah, for somebody who doesn't want to get caught, he's surely going through checks and TSA a lot.
Mm-hmm. But hey, you got to do what you got to do. That's the risk you got to take. You know what I'm saying? International killers from all around the world to tell you this is how you got to travel sometimes. But yeah, now he's in New Orleans and he goes to, as they say, he's meeting the lawyer. But let's see. Oh, he talks about his storages. He says that if anything ever happens to him and the payments stop coming, then somebody opening up one of his storages on Storage Wars would probably be a crazy watch. I thought that was actually really funny. Like not being funny, but I thought that was really funny because I've seen a couple of Storage Wars where they found like 9-10 weapons, like really nice weapons in a storage. And I'm sitting there like,
depending on what state you're in, I guess, right? You could be that could be a come up or a big headache.
Man, listen, most of the time they end up selling them. Most of them even talk about like they're going to go straight to sell the weapons. They're not going to keep them.
Well, but I think that at certain states you'd probably have to turn them over to the authorities.
That's a fair point. Lose your money because some of these weapons. Listen, I've seen some things that had me like that was in somebody's storage unit.
Like, yeah, maybe there's a lot of Michael Fassbenders out there. He's skinny as hell too. I didn't really believe the whole like fight with the
yeah. That's why I said what I said in the chat earlier when I was like, so weight classes just don't matter. Like I'm so tired of this in movies. Weight classes matter.
They certainly do, and he is all of 140 pounds, I think.
So. And trust me when I tell you, I know weight classes matter. And sometimes, you just got to test the waters and find out how much they matter and why. But anything above 215, yeah, that's all the same. So, oh well. But
Right. Yeah, that's true. Right. Yeah. Somebody who's 215 can go
gotta
fight some
fight a 300 pounder.
pound.
Yeah. He look 300 solid muscle at 6'5", got to fight 6'2", 215. It is what it is.
That's a fair fight.
That's a fair fight somehow. All right.
Yeah.
God. But well, until they hit 350, then they're super heavies, right? But either way.
Then I
but
think you have to go to sumo after that. So
I think so, actually.
Mhm.
But who knows? Maybe how many people realistically can answer that question? You know what I mean?
It's a good question. I don't know. Andre the Giant, maybe.
Right. Dang.
That's
Yeah,
all
because I
I
don't
can
even think
think of.
Shaq is over 3. No, Shaq probably like 320.
He's probably pushing
like
it
7
too.
feet, 7'1".
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a giant too.
Yeah. Dude is huge. Let's see. The Spanish guy. Oh, he pays the Spanish gentleman to go into the hardware shop and go shopping for him. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. Like, all right, I'm just gonna keep it a bean. I was thinking, like, I'm not gonna say it. I heard you, Mike. I'm gonna let you go right after I say this. I was thinking I wasn't gonna say it, but I'm gonna say it. So first, you're gonna kill the Spanish kid just in the middle of the slums, you're in the middle of the Dominican Republic. You know, kill him in the middle of the look like an abandoned wreck yard, right? All right, cool. I understand. You're a murderer. This is your job. Okay, cool. Why did they have to go into the hardware store?
That's why we needed Tilda Swinton, because it's
To balance it out.
Yeah, one white person had to get it.
Well, her and the lady, the
Oh
what
yes,
was her name?
Secretary.
Yeah, the secretary. Her name was.
Oh, who knows?
Don't remember.
Florence.
No, Dolores.
I was close. Florence, Dolores. Hey, come on.
That's pretty close. I don't even know if it might be Georgia for all the hell I know.
Both of those are 50s diner waitress names. So
that's a
there you
fact.
go. Mike, what were you going to say, man?
Yeah.
I just wanted you to play the meme from the little boy.
That's racist.
Yeah, you know what? I will. Just because Mike requested it, because I was thinking about it too, and I thought to myself,
yeah, straight up. And I was trying to let a lot of it slide until those dudes came out of the hardware store, and I thought they were just gonna be walking by him. He was gonna watch them walk by, and it's like, all right, I know they got the stuff I need. Let me go in. No, they got his stuff. And what got me was they ain't even got no badges on. They ain't work there. He ain't like online order this. You paid them to go in there, so your face wasn't on camera. Why they got to be seen by no?
Because they won't tell anything. They won't say anything.
Even more filthy. How you know they ain't gonna say nothing? Yeah, I know.
All right. Fair enough.
I'm sorry. So Edward, and her name is Dolores. I see it here in my notes now. So he kills Edward. Edward was his handler, apparently his friend, until he turned on him. And I understand him killing Edward because Edward was kind of like heartless and motionless about the whole situation. Like, I can't believe you went home. Like, so if I didn't go home, I wouldn't have known what they just did to my family, bruh. What you talking about? I shouldn't have went. You know you gotta die, right?
Yeah, that was a bad justification for you shouldn't have gone home. Well, was he never going to be going home? Was that?
I was thinking. So what I figure is the message was if he goes home, the moment he gets off that plane, or the moment he heads there, you get her. But I was also thinking that the message was never necessarily to get her. The message was to come for him if they caught him coming home. But he comes home and they're not there because the freak dude decided, like, nah, we're gonna tune her up too.
Because it was supposed to be for him. It was supposed to be for him, and the lawyer was hoping that he wouldn't go there and that they just miss each other or whatever. Right. I get that. You got a comment here, Keelan.
All right, we got Leo Osbon. What's going on, Leo? We appreciate you for joining and checking us out. great looking, average movie. It is a great looking, average movie. That is a
Mhm.
great take. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah,
Um,
it's fair.
you know, that's a great, like, if you had to break it down into a few words, it is great looking, but it's awful. I mean, excuse me. Blah, blah, blah. What was the full comment? Great looking. Make sure I go back to it. So yeah, average movie. It is an average movie. I'm gonna say awful. Awful wasn't the word he used. Average, average. Um, or they used. I'm not. I can't see the thumbnail. Either way, um, something about this movie. Just thinking about it, just being an average movie. I'm wondering at what point did they what point did they stray? Like I know on my page where I believe at what point they stray. At what point during the process did they stray? Like sometimes we talk about movies being rewritten. I don't. Again, this is one of those
I
that doesn't
think
really seem rewritten per se.
no, it's pretty cut and dry. There's not a whole lot of detail in this movie. Again, it's quite mundane. I think what happens is that it becomes predictable quite quickly. After you figure out what happens to his girl, you basically figure out what's going to happen next. And
Yeah,
it's sort of like a Kill Bill-esque crossing the names
I
off
have
the
a
list sort of thing.
right. I have a particular set of skills.
Yeah. Something, I mean, stuff we've seen before for sure.
Yeah,
Many times.
and we expected it to be done a little bit differently because of the people who were doing it. Yeah. Like
And
honestly, I expected this to not to cut you off, but I expected this to have at least some what was that Flywire scenes?
well, why?
I don't know. I
Oh,
don't know,
okay.
but
Because
just
you're so used to John Wick and, jumping
I've never seen one
motorcycles
of the
over
John Wick
bridges.
movies.
I know, but this is what is sort of leaked out into the expectation
Oh
of
yeah,
sort
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying.
assassin movies where it's like,
Everybody wants what's his name? What's the guy that did the Transformer movies? Michael Bay.
yeah, like there's an expectation that there's going to be a lot of explosions, there's going to be cool gadgets, there's going to be this is a very pedestrian sort of, like street level thing,
I want to ask, is it fair to say that a movie like this isn't appreciated because everything else has become a music video?
That's what I kind of thought in my first impression, is that it's sort of like an anti John Wick. If you think
Yeah.
of John
Yes.
Wick as like a big music video where everything is flashy and explosive and cool,
Yeah.
this movie is like, let's do everything opposite to that, which is
Mhm.
kind of interesting. But
It's the
it is,
behind the scenes.
yeah, it's the stuff that it's like the stuff that you really don't care to know about. But
Right.
yeah.
Dang, son. Okay, yeah, no, and that I think it's interesting because for people like us, uh, people like Leo, people that have tuned in with us in previous, I think that's what probably interested most of us in this film or a film like this is just that thought of okay, killer movie is gonna give us some details. Let's get into the details, and they started out with it really well, like really all the way up until that joke in the elevator. This movie was smooth.
Mm.
Remember the elevator joke? No.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah, I guess I think it's just because of the predictability that it sort of lost a little bit
Yeah,
of its like,
repetition.
ooh, what's going to happen next? So
Right. So let's see. He gets his information up out of Edward. He ends up getting help from Dolores, and she tells him everything he needs to know to find the contractors that hurt his lady and the client. He then snaps her neck and makes it look like she broke her neck walking down the stairs. I guess they were at her house.
yes, because she
Mhm.
wanted to die in a manner that would pay the insurance would
Pay the
pay
insurance and
out.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if she was murdered or if she committed suicide, she wasn't going to get the insurance. So he showed empathy by
Mhm.
murdering her to make it look like an accident.
Broke rule number 3, number 2,
Yeah, he breaks all of his rules really
every single time.
Yeah.
Why couldn't he die by the end of this?
I don't think that he's interesting enough to die. I think that I think that this is like a stylistic choice. The sort of unremarkable, because the character himself obviously talks about being one of the many, just
True.
like
Just like
average
you.
guy. average guy, nothing remarkable about him. He just
Yeah.
kills people for a living, and that's it.
You applied at the Burger King, he applied at the Assassin Center. Same deal.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way a little bit, like
Right.
a
So
day in the life sort of thing.
yeah, that literally day in the life. So we get to Florida. This is scene or section chapter number 4. We get to Florida where he meets the Brute, the big freak guy, as they called him earlier. And really, this guy's just a musclehead, roid junkie. Parties, does drugs, has a big ass dog, lives in the middle of Florida. I mean, I'm not really sure how else to explain it.
Mm.
The killer gets into his house after drugging his dog. His dog is huge, so the drugs didn't last that long, but they last a little bit.
They pulled the next Friday.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking of the whole time too. Now, what's crazy to me, the old boy he knew he was coming.
I guess.
Because you're running the shower, you have the music and everything going
and you're
on.
pretending like you're showering, but you're not. So he
You're
must have
definitely
known.
not.
Yeah.
Because he
Which
ran out there
again-
fully clothed.
Yeah, which again gives us the impression that this guy isn't as good
As he thinks
he thinks he is.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, he doesn't have a name either.
No, his name is Killer. And
Pretty much.
how do you not have a name and you're the main character? That's how you know he's not the main. It's not really about him.
Yeah, very much like Drive or
Mhm.
like another no-name protagonist. I think we
Yeah.
watched one of those movies before.
Yeah.
But
You
yeah,
can't- you can't call it Baby Driver because Baby Driver's name was Baby.
that's right. Yeah, but he gets tuned up by this dude pretty severely,
Yeah.
and a fight ensues that's almost on the par of what a lot of people complain about when a slight character gets one over on a a 250 pound
Superior.
linebacker.
Right.
know?
Right. But yeah, so hey Mike, there he goes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, when we have a female assassin taking down trained Marines and berets and special
he was
forces
smaller than
guys,
some
like
of the female assassins we've seen.
right.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is. Yeah, it's exactly like most of that stuff that we sort of critique, and a lot of people are sort of tired of. So I have to say, yes, Michael Fassbender was not going to be able to outdo that guy. Now, had we had known, like we saw him do some yoga, maybe that was supposed to give us the impression that he knew how to be more limber, but that really doesn't give him an advantage. It would have been nice if he knew, because they did this in Dexter too, where Dexter, he's not a very big guy, but he knows judo and jujitsu, so he uses those moves. And usually can get one over on bigger people, but we don't really know what this guy's capable of. And aside from being scrappy, it doesn't look like he's a very
good fighter.
proficient fighter.
Yeah. He cries in the shower at the airport. We know that.
Yes, he does. Gets right beat up, and then it proceeds to go around the airport through security and all of that with a messed up face, and everybody just kind of looks at him like.
Like, that's weird. The power of being.
That's odd.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's odd, but it ain't that odd, apparently.
Not odd enough for anybody to call the authorities, that's for sure.
Let him be in 2 shades darker. Wouldn't have happened. I had to find a way to say it. New York. No, before we get to New York. He beats up the guy and then burns down his place after. How did he kill him again? He shot him.
Yes,
he shot him through.
Sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
Mike, go ahead.
Nah, sorry. I just be throwing in little comments and I keep forgetting about the
Zing that thing out there, man. Sorry, I'm yelling.
You can't do it while he's talking. That's the problem. Yeah. Sorry, guys. StreamYard's having a very weird glitch where we're getting echoes from Mike's microphone. And it's obviously bad enough that they sent us a notification when Mike joined the stream, and they're like, "Hey, just so you know, he's gonna be echoing." So we're
This
trying to
device
manage
is
that.
not working properly. Like, what you
Yeah.
mean? What you talking about?
It's a bug. Apparently, it'll be fixed, but this is the way we're gonna have to fix it for right now. So,
Right.
but yes,
Uh.
he kills the dude in Florida, and then he heads over to the next on his list, which is Tilda Swinton.
Right, Tilda Swinton. Yeah, that fight was kind of crazy. There's a lot of things that happened in that fight. But yeah, he gets to New York to the expert who, let's see, he sleeps on a plane, he showers at the airport, finds out that she's married, sleeps outside of her house for what seems like a day and a half.
Yep,
Huh?
it's got to do recon.
Right. And she, she's such a great killer that she doesn't see him.
Why was she even a part of this if she's just so?
She's such an auntie.
Yeah, what was she doing in this whole thing? Why
She's
would
the
she-
oracle for him. That's what she is.
But like, why would the company send somebody like that to go kill Michael Fassbender?
Because we don't even know what was her. That's what I was wondering. What was her skill?
I don't know.
Like,
They
we know the
don't tell
big
us.
dude, right? We know dude right here, the killer is supposed to be like a sniper type, proficient, perfect. We know the big dude, he's a monster. What was her specialty? Explosives, poison, what'd she do?
I think it
Maybe
might have been poison because he didn't want to drink from the drinks
Right.
until she downed a few of them.
Right.
So it's possible that she was like a poisoner, but why would you take a poisoner to go take out a hitman? Like,
Right.
when are you gonna like, unless you're gonna disguise yourself and then make him food?
That's his chef.
Right.
Oh, you're back home, master. We have a personal chef for you.
Yeah, a new chef just
That
started.
new chef,
Just
right.
started last week when you did that terrible job.
that knows that you for sure does not know that you are a murderer or a killer. There's no way she's here for that. But either way, let's see. He stakes her out. He hesitates to kill her in traffic, ends up catching up to her at a restaurant. They have a discussion. She makes him feel like a dickhead because he failed at the job, and also accuses him of doing it on purpose, which is what we've been doing most of this review.
Yeah.
But I liked that story about the bear and the guy in the woods. That shit was funny, but it was also very on point. Wouldn't you say, Mike?
Thought it was hilarious.
Figured you would. That's why I wanted to hear from you about it. That story actually had me crying laughing because I was like, hold on, wait. Is she offering? No, that's not what's going on here. But that could be what's going on.
No, she wasn't offering. She's
She
saying
wasn't.
that
She
he's
wasn't.
the hunter.
Yeah.
And he
he didn't have the thrill or the heart for it anymore that he thought, or taste for it like he thought he did anymore.
Or he's screwing up on purpose in order to have to go through this whole mess of a thing that he's doing.
Right.
Because she makes a really big point about the fact that he missed. Like that was, from what the movie tells us, he's so good that he never misses. And so this time he misses, and she thinks that he misses because he wanted something different. Just wanted to.
The same reason he was sitting there talking to her rather than just taking her out.
Right.
I get, yeah. And she made really good points. Honestly, maybe this, like I said, talking about it probably make more sense. I think I understand her character a little more now. Still could have,
I don't understand why she didn't turn into an astral form and go find Stephen Strange. What's happening here?
I saw that coming. I just
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't know how we were going to bring that up, but I saw that coming. But yeah, no, she does none of the such. In fact, what she does is after she has a couple of shots, offers him some food. He says no to all of it. She descends the stairways. They depart together, leave into the courtyard. They cross the icy way, and she slips on the stairs, begging him for help. Right, Mike? Begging him for help.
What do you want me to say, man?
Hey,
I wouldn't
man.
have done it neither.
Hey, I'm just saying.
I knew exactly what it was as soon as she left. I'm like,
didn't we
I
all?
ain't helping her do nothing.
Didn't we all? Don't you want to help a lady, sir? You ain't pretty enough. Pop,
Yeah.
smooth off.
Just
I ain't play with you. I'll blow your head. Smooth off.
blatantly murdering people in
Yeah, and daylight.
public.
Or
Yeah. It
public,
was
yeah.
nighttime, but still.
I mean, where were they?
I mean,
Let's go with
he
my
went through
notes.
such painstaking detail to get rid of the attorney's body,
Right.
but then
Just
just
gonna leave
like
her there.
just leave two other bodies there. He
Yeah.
left
Three.
the dude, yeah, and the secretary, and
Mhm.
the secretary at least looked like an accident, but you left the cab driver with a bullet in his head. You left
Mhm.
Tilda
Boy,
Swinton with a
right.
bullet in his head, and the other dude with a bullet in his head. Like,
Mhm.
all right.
And that's after being seen with him, with her
Right.
for a while on cameras. I'm assuming.
At least the taxi driver.
Yeah. The taxi driver and Tilda Swinton. I mean, everybody at the restaurant saw that dude with her.
True.
So
Yeah.
when she doesn't come back because she's well known at that
When
restaurant.
she dies in the park across the street.
Yeah.
Like
Oops.
just across the street. So they left out of here and he must have shot her right here. What was his name? Sam Malone.
Archibald Bunker.
George Jefferson.
Mhm.
Robert Hotley. I was like, I'm gonna look all these names up, but I recognized so many of them. I was like, I don't have to.
Barry Allen.
Right. That's funny as hell.
That was from Catch Me If You Can.
Mhm.
Oh. Yep.
Hey, your echo's gone. Congratulations.
Yeah, I charged my headset for a bit. Give me a little time, at least towards the end.
Yes, sir.
Nice. So chapter 6 is upon us, and we're off to Chicago to meet the client. And he follows the client around for a couple of days. He ends up meeting him at his gym. Finds out that this dude ain't got no real security. The security's sitting there playing Pokemon Go. But he ends up getting into his home.
Was it a Snorlax?
No, what did he say it was? I forgot.
I don't know. I thought you were referencing that real life article that that happened. No?
No.
Oh,
he
okay.
said something. He said Wordle. He said good luck with the Wordle. And I was like, a Wordle is that damn Pokemon?
No, that's a Squirtle.
Yeah, but no, Wordle is the
Wordle's a game. It's a word game.
Oh, I thought Wordle was the evolved version of Squirtle.
No, that's
Wartortle. That's a Blastoise. Oh.
Wartortle, then
Blastoise and Wartortle.
Yeah.
Look how old we are.
That's how much I don't know about Pokemon. It sounds like Pokemon to me.
That's a shame. Yeah, so he finds the billionaire and he basically just walks into his house.
Yeah, just walks in his house, talks him out. He lets him explain everything, and he finds out that it's not personal and I have nothing against you. And even though everybody else said that they had to go, he could live. So he lets him live and tells him, if I got to come back here, it's going to be slow and painful.
So
that was my issue.
Yeah. What was your issue, Mike?
How he let the billionaire survive and he killed all the other people. He killed the poor taxi man who didn't do nothing wrong except drive people. No. He didn't even go to the house.
Because the billionaire is a client. That's why. So this is all one really big way of getting back at somebody who left you a bad customer complaint.
Right.
Like that's all that is because the thing he says to the billionaires, do we have a problem?
Right.
Reverse Karen.
Always right.
Once the billionaire is like, no, I don't have any problem with you. He's like, all right, I'll see you later then.
Mm-hmm. Customer's always right. So as long as the customer ain't said we got a problem, then we good.
Yeah. Right.
Later.
He doesn't want his reputation being tarnished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My name.
Uh-huh.
My name is my name. Oh my God. We'll talk about that after. Then we jump to the epilogue because that all goes by pretty swiftly. In the epilogue, we don't get anything but him talking about how he's one of the many, one of the people, and then he sits in the DR with his lady that wasn't even by the water. It looked like they were like sitting behind the bush that was behind the bush that was by the pool that was behind another bush.
It was still like a multi-million-dollar home in Dominican.
For sure. It wasn't a
That's for
resort or
sure.
nothing. This was their place. This was their little spot. So yeah, they just relaxing, and she got a cut on her head, and he got a cut on his lip, and there you go.
So that was his woman. No, that wasn't like the
I
something
thought
else.
that was
Because
just like his
I thought
homegirl,
it was
his
his maid.
friend. Could have been that too, but apparently that's his lady.
I did. I thought no, honestly, I thought it was the maid because the brother
They didn't paint it no
came
other
in
way.
talking about she really care about you, and I'm like, why the brother there like that? But
Yeah.
I
guess
I
I,
get what
I
you
missed
meant.
I
They
missed
didn't do it
something.
no other way.
It's his, it's his ride or die. She the first thing she says when she wakes up out of her coma is, "I didn't snitch." So
Right. That's the
you
first
know.
thing she say. I protected you. I didn't tell, and I said if I tell, I'm never gonna see him again. So I didn't tell, and I was like,
This seems unhealthy. This is something about this
I
seems
think I've
unhealthy.
seen this story in real life a million times.
Yeah.
I wonder where they got this concept from.
Mm.
No snitching.
No snitching.
Okay.
No hip hop. That's hip hop, baby. You know what I'm talking about?
No, because I don't know what that means no more, and that's
Yeah.
another conversation.
That's a good point. You know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I am talking about?
Do you know what I am saying?
You know what I'm
Do you know
saying?
what I'm saying?
Absolutely not.
I
And
need
we're
to
gonna
get
keep it that way.
I need to get a Butters drop. Oh, I'm gonna get one.
Yeah.
for the-
Man,
I'm gonna add
come
that.
on, fellas.
Yeah.
Definitely need a drop.
You wanna
know
make
what
some
I am
money?
saying?
Man. All right. I think we might have reached our limit right there. Let's not push it.
Yep.
I think they would appreciate it personally, but you never know who's involved in all of that.
Right.
With that being said, we are
Done.
approaching that time, fellas, because we ain't got nothing else to talk about as far as the movie's concerned, but we are approaching that time for ratings and thoughts. Ratings and thoughts. Get them on in there.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Who's going first?
I mean, I could do it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, since you volunteered so generously,
Yeah.
get her
bro.
done.
I'm saying. Buckwheat, plaid shirts, suspenders, straw hats. Oh wait, we're not naming our favorite things in the whole wide world. Sorry, I apologize.
Nah, cause buckwheat nasty.
Fair. So yeah, this movie again wasn't terrible, but it was watchable to a level. It had its down point. It existed though, and it's not something that I would tell people not to watch. I actually would love to know what other people's thoughts are on this movie. I think it could be hot and cold for different people, and for various reasons. With that being said, I'm gonna give this a 4 because it's not like blowing my socks off. It didn't give me anything fresh. It didn't give me anything new. It's not making me think like, man, I never would have thought I would have saw that done that way. But at the exact same time, I didn't get the urge to not finish it. So I could have probably gave it a 5 at least, but I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think I'm gonna give it a 6. I thought it was above average. I don't think that it's a bad movie. I think it gets like predictable. That's probably the hardest part about it. But I did like its mundane take on sort of the assassin motif, and it was refreshing to see that a little bit more than what we would see in something like John Wick. I think the cinematography is decent. I think the sound design was decent. The story, again, very boilerplate, nothing incredible. Is it memorable? I don't know. I might remember him at the beginning with the sniper rifle. I might remember that scene, but it's not a bad movie in any stretch. I think it's a little bit above average, so I'm going to say a 6.
And I think I'm gonna be the balance on this one because I was thinking it's about an average movie to me. I thought it was about a 5, to be honest. It didn't blow my socks off. I thought some of it was humorous, but not much. I didn't care much about the characters all that much. Michael Fassbender's character didn't wow me. Tilda Swinton, the Roid Rage, I mean, the only character that I thought was even close to being interesting was probably the girlfriend, and she only got about 5 seconds worth of screen time, and most of it was unconscious.
Right.
I mean, there's not a whole lot there to go on for story for me, and then the fact that they let the billionaire survive, he should have got it the most. He's the main reason why you're doing all this, so
Is
he
it because
definitely
he's a
had to go.
billionaire that you wanted him to go, or is it just because he's the head? He was the
No.
source of the order.
He was the source of it all. I mean, none of it would have moved forward without his. Okay, do what you got to do, or do something.
His money.
And then his smug attitude about it all was just like, get him. He doesn't deserve to keep breathing like the rest of us with our good poor people air.
Breathing all the air.
Yeah,
Rich man's air.
right. So but other than that, decent. It's decent. I mean, it's not all that memorable. I tell people to watch it just because it's a good way to kill some time.
Yeah. And I think that if you're interested in, I don't know, like very subtle story stuff, then you might like it. Again, I think it provides just a little bit of an alternative, but I think the assassin motif is starting to get played out too. So I don't know how many more movies can get made like this.
Right.
But yeah, that brings it to. Huh?
I was just gonna say, as soon as John Wick hits space, we're gonna be good. That's when I'll give up.
Yeah. Well, that puts it at a 5. So
Excellent.
Yeah. So pretty average movie, right down the middle.
mhm.
I can agree with that. I don't think there's anything to add or take away from that. With that being said, it's been marvelous, guys, sitting here giving you guys our review of the movie Killer, which just dropped on Friday. It's a brand new flick. Go ahead, check that out on Netflix. Jeez, what am I, 60?
Nexus Flicks.
But Nexus Flicks, exactly. Go ahead and check that out on Netflix. It's up there for you. It'll probably be in like the top 10 at the time right now. I'm pretty sure it is because, when you got the right names, it's going to get people to tune in those first couple of days. And that's exactly why we're here, to give you a review. We appreciate you guys. Go ahead and tune in to some of our other shows. We'll always have new content, new information floating around, trying to give you guys something to fill your week with, entertain yourself with. And at this point, I'm sure we have enough episodes to, if you watch one episode every day of the year, you could fill up your entire year just by going through all of these different shows. Go ahead and look at your screen, take a screenshot, check it out. You have the If Numbers Could Talk show, Screen Time Continuum. You're here with us right now. The XO Fathom, This Married Moment, Strawberries and Coffee, which is on Twitch, and King _ Ilion, which is also on Twitch. Go ahead and check those out. By all means, I know you'll find something that you enjoy. And again, we have enough content for you to literally fill up every day of your year and probably even make it thematic. But hey, that's how we do around here at the Screen Time Continuum. We just want to make it fun, enjoyable, and we have fun doing this. So yeah,
yes,
we appreciate you guys for hanging out. Sorry, what were you saying, Mike?
No, I was just agreeing.
He said exactly. But yeah.
Excellent.
With that being said, for the Screen Time Continuum, my name is Keelan.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Mike.
We appreciate you guys. Mr. Killer. That background even reminds me of Fear and Loathing.
Yeah, he looks like Hunter S. Thompson.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that thumb is going to get us shadow banned.
Man, I hope not. But maybe.
Probably.
You know what? Maybe that'll bring us some notoriety from just being a part of that group.
There we go.
And another small channel bites the dust. Let's go support them, guys.
Right.